This is Hannibal here as we do another magazine review. The beautiful, gorgeous George, who I've interviewed once and seemed to confirm the rumor about Macho Man and Stephanie in that interview. And also claim, well, it makes sense that Macho Man died young because he was on a lot of drugs, but she also talked about that. But this here it is, WOW, World of Wrestling magazine. The first issue, I remember it was $7.95 Canadian, which was a huge cost for a magazine when this came out in the late 90s when wrestling was doing amazing. And look who we have here, the Nitro Girls. Beautiful and gorgeous Kimberly Page, who I would love to interview sometime. A thing about signs. Remember when signs were really, really popular to bring to wrestling events? At one point, Sunny when she was hot. Chris Benoit has finally won the gold. Speaking of sunny, it's very sunny out today. We're getting the glare from my windows. Let's see what else is going on. Every Man Has a Price, Ted DiBiase's book. He did a good interview on this channel, and he hasn't been found guilty yet. But according to the lawsuit he's involved with, as we look at the Nitro Girls, DiBiase was similar to his wrestling character. Nitro Girls. This was a good concept. I have to admit. Wrestling was really good in these days. More of the Nitro Girls, who apparently, I think pretty much all of them ended up going out with wrestlers. Shawn Michaels married one of them. More on the Nitro Girls. Good magazine for beautiful women. Good idea. Sex sells. Feature the Nitro Girls in your very first magazine. I don't know how long World of Wrestling lasted. I believe Bill Apter was affiliated with it. I wonder how much Eric Bischoff had to do with the casting of the Nitro Girls. Girl power. And does anyone remember, did Vince Russo discontinue the Nitro Girls? I don't seem to remember them as much in the later years. The only one I really remember was Kimberly Page. The others they all mixed together. Speaking of Kimberly Page, Diamond Dallas Page was getting a push at this time. There's a new shoot interview with Dallas Page I'm going to post today, by the way. And I do really like Diamond Dallas Page a lot. And I do his yoga program. I need to do it more, though. Calendar. That's a pretty good concept. It says it actually has all the events that are going to go on. All the major events, anyways. I'm sure this doesn't include house shows. More of DDP. Oh, how cool was he here? He really was like a club manager in the 80s, and he met a lot of the wrestlers through the club that he worked at. But I remember I did an interview with him too, and he mentioned that 1 month or something he wanted to see if he could have sex with a different girl every day of the month, and he did. By the way, next time I do a magazine review, I'm going to do it on my phone because this is not the most practical. Ric Flair laying a beating on Kurt Hennig. Yeah. I'm gonna lay the magazine down on the next one. What a nice robe. Great robe. Ric Flair punching somebody there. I think Bischoff. And they're still feuding to this day. Ric Flair has a bad side to him, like a very insecure, jealous side. I'm not holding it against him, but he has feuds with people, and that side will come out. Rey Mysterio, back when he was Dominic's age. Oh, Scott Hall coming on strong in 99. I think his WCW peak was honestly when he first debuted. And for a period after that, before the NWO became oversaturated. Because his demons got to him. And I'm not holding that against him. It's bad. Imagine if Scott Hall didn't have his demons, how much even more over he would have been. There's Macho Man, Bam Bam Bigelow, Sting, who's still going strong today. Big Sid, Psycho Sid Vicious, Scott Steiner. Remember their match where Sid's bone popped out of his leg? Another one is Scott, Kevin Nash. Hulk Hogan. And Lex Luger with Buff Bagwell and Torture Rack. They're talking here about an ECW pay-per-view coming to Canada. I don't think that ever happened, although they did have an ECW taping once in the Toronto area for their TV show, and it sold out almost instantly. Taz. He never really did much in WWE. All I remember was his first match with Angle. He did better as a commentator. This is Sid when he showed up in ECW. Just Incredible. I remember him. Watch his match against Blood Hunter. He ran away like a coward. Shane Douglas. New Jack. They were still doing hotlines back then. I don't know how much hotlines would do today. I don't think there is any hotlines today because everything leaks out over the internet. Sabu, who had a couple matches against the Blood Hunter. Actually, the Blood Hunter against Sabu the second time and Scorpio against the Blood Hunter were the matches he had his most injuries in. Here's the rankings. Number 1, Steve Austin. 2, Mick Foley. 3, Owen Hart. 4, X-Pac. 5, Triple H. 6, The Undertaker. 7, Kane. 8, The Rock. 9, Jeff Jarrett. 10, Road Dogg. Wrestling tattoos. Vader and X-Pac. Edge, who's still going strong today. Undertaker and Al Snow. Search up my match against Al Snow on here. This man, Steve Austin, actually talked about my match against Al Snow in his podcast with Al Snow. Oh, Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon, who's going to be at WrestleMania this year. Steve Austin. This is a big book. Undertaker Wrestling King. Butterbean, who there's a hell of a lot of videos about on this channel. He used to have a podcast with Rick Bassman and Boss Rutan on this channel, and I've done interviews with him. There's Steve Austin. Lots and lots of stuff in here. Booker T and Ric Flair in another amazing robe. He invested a lot of money in his robes. I think around this time, ECW, this was 99, right? End of 98, beginning of 99. That was one of the top times in pro wrestling. This looks like Eminem, but oh no, it's Rey Mysterio. It's Rey Mysterio. When he, at the time where he was not wearing the mask. There he is. More of Rey. More of Rey, who's wrestling his son, Dominic. No tarp at this arena. Packed house. A woman who should be in the Hall of Fame, Miss Elizabeth. What a tragedy. Gangrel. Gangrel has done a couple interviews with me. I've wrestled him twice. Bill Goldberg, who's apparently a free agent. I'd rather see Bill Goldberg against John Cena at WrestleMania than Austin Theory against John Cena, to be perfectly honest. Much rather. Some cartoons. Goldust, The Rock, and Goldberg. Looking amazing, Francine. Dreamer, Taz, and Francine. Who I've interviewed, Francine. Francine and Douglas. Francine looks great today, too. Sable. Back when she was at her peak. Tori Wilson and David Flair. Deborah and Gorgeous George. Deborah would go on to marry Steve Austin. More ladies. Stampede Wrestling, alive and well. That was the relaunch of Stampede Wrestling. There's a picture of Brian Pillman at the Hard House. Well, that generation of Stampede Wrestling produced people like me. I didn't join till a few years later, though. Harry Smith, Ted Hart, Natalia, Vic Richter, Jinder Mahal, TJ Wilson, Randy Myers, Goldberg Bleeding. Good amount of talent. Contests. Hogan and The Rock. Video games. That AEW Fight Forever video game is having huge problems, isn't it? Testosterone Rock. They're even getting into entertainment. More of The Rock stuff, and we'll close it off with Gorgeous George. Sonny is going to be in prison for life now. Yeah. Sonny didn't end up doing well. Yes, opinionated. Macho Man never took drugs, sure. Do I drink Pepsi? I don't like pop, honestly. I drink milk, tomato juice, water. Those are my main drinks. No, Sonny did not age well at all. HBK married Whisper. I probably will eventually interview Kimberly. Yeah, Brett DiBiase, Ted's son, pled guilty. That's true. Awesome magazine cover. I agree. Appreciate it. People don't talk. Like, as long as people talk about you, it means you're doing something right. It's when they're not talking about you. That's when you have the issues. People talk about me because it generates ratings and hits. Controversy creates cash. I'm heading out for my workout. See you guys later.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click